Guys, and welcome back to AdosTheGreat YouTube channel. So guys, in today's video, I'm going to be talking you through the changes I've made to finalize my Super Coach team for 2025. Now, I took your criticism of my original Super Coach team. You know, you guys said that I'm going to take my love for the Rabbitohs out of it and drop a good amount of the players that I picked from South Sydney. So I have done that. I think I had 6 or 7 in there to begin with. We've dropped that down to 2, which we'll talk about shortly. And then obviously the trials have impacted some of the decisions I've made. And while I say this is my final team, there is a good chance that I will make changes, but we'll see what happens. I'm super excited to jump in and talk you through why I've made some of these changes. I'd love to hear your thoughts, though. Please drop them down below in the comments where you think I've gone right, where you think I've gone wrong. But yeah, we'll start off with the dummy halves and work our way through to the flex position. So obviously I've stuck with Watson and Smith. Sandon Smith does worry me a little bit, and that, I could look at another option, maybe an Owen Paddy if he is to be confirmed for Vegas. I just think at halfback, Sandon's going to make some money there. So I think he's a decent option for me. I know some people were saying, what about when the Roosters have the bye? Well, when the Roosters have the bye, obviously I won't have a reserve on Sandon Smith, which means Connor Watson will be the only player that doesn't play. With the flex option, that gives me an 18th man, so that, if he, obviously Connor Watson won't play, so the 18th man will get activated and I'll have 17 players. Like, it doesn't matter too much there. I'm happy to run with this. I think this is probably my best option go for the start of the year. Obviously, you guys might have a differing opinion, and that's fine. I'd love to hear from you, though, guys. Please do drop it down in the comments. But, happy to go with these two players. I think Connor Watson is going to have to play large minutes, and I think he will poll some pretty big scores. I'm hoping to eventually go from Watson to Grant. That is my hope there for the hooking position, but we'll see what happens. Watson, he might be like a Reece Robson from last year and just be a keeper. Like, I genuinely do believe that he could be that option, but we'll see what happens. All right, in the front row forwards, Corey Horsburgh, man, he is just, I can't wait to see how he goes in 2025. I think he's going to explode and just have a massive year. So I am keen for him. I think he's got to be in most teams, to be fair. And I think he's going to light it up in Vegas. Cannot wait for that. He looks fit. He looks ready to go. I think he's going to play bigger minutes. Well, I'd hope he'd play bigger minutes than he did in 2024. I'm confident with Corey Horsburgh there. Terrell May, I think he is a must-have in everyone's side as well. 597,000. I think he's going to be one of the best forwards in the NRL. I know a lot of people are a bit hesitant on him, but man, he's looking fit. In limited minutes in that trial game against Parramatta, he looked incredible. I genuinely believe he's going to be a big scorer in 2025, and I cannot leave him out of my side. He's got to be there. Tavita Totola, he should be good for round 1. If not, I'm not too stressed. Again, he is going to be a pretty good cash cow in my opinion. Just depends on how he comes back from this injury. I'm confident he is going to have a big year with him and Davey Moale, or if they go another option in the front row. I think that he is going to be definitely somebody that, a lot of people will want in their team eventually. Again, may not play round 1. It is what it is. I'm expecting him to be there by round 2. So I'm pretty confident we're going to see a pretty good season here out of Tavita Totola. So I'm happy with that selection. Ben Sakura, he looked really good in the trials, and the only thing that sort of concerns me a little bit is how many minutes he's going to get. This one's a bit of a risk in my opinion because the Broncos have got quite a lot of forwards there. Anything could happen, but I do think that he will play some pretty decent minutes this year, a lot more than he did last season, and I just think he's going to generate a little bit of money there that I could utilise to fix up another position if necessary. So, I'm hopeful that Takura has a big year. But he may, again, like as I said, there could still be changes before round 1. We've got to wait for team lists and stuff like that. But this is the team that I believe I will be going with. from round one. So, yeah, Ben Zakura, I think he's got to be in this squad for me. Second row forwards, all three of the starting forwards here that I've got for round one are all sort of cash cows. Safer, I think he's going to have a big year, a bit like Terrell May. I think he's going to get quite large minutes. I think he'll score quite well. He played really well in the trials, so I think he is going to be a definite player to watch for Super Coach. Finifuyaki was incredible in limited minutes for the Cowboys last year. I think he's going to have a bigger role there for the Dolphins, and I'm pretty happy to have him in my side here. Kobe Hetherington is another player that I'm going to be keeping an eye on very carefully. If he doesn't get that lock spot for round one, then he probably will come out of my side. But if he locks down that number 13 jersey, no pun intended, he will 1000% be a massively owned Supercoach player, in my opinion. He's already quite up there, I believe, in Supercoach ownership. And yeah, I think as soon as round one team lists get announced, I think if he's locked in that 13 jersey, it's over. I think a lot of people are going to pick him up because I think he will get a decent amount of minutes. Can't bloody talk. I've got the Titans boys here, David Fafita and Tino. I'm not fully convinced on Fafita. This one may change. I don't know. But I think at 531,000, you've got to have Tino in your team. I like that Tino can play front row or second row as well in Supercoach. So I think that is a massive factor in why I wanted to bring him in, as well as that price tag. He's just going to grow and grow in price. Zach Hosking, he should be good for round one. I believe that's the report. Yeah, look, if he's not, I'm happy to keep him. Round one, round two. If it's extended more, I may get rid of him. But I think at 513k, he's going to be a player that most people will want in their team. I think you've just got to have him. Halves, Nathan Cleary speaks for himself. Obviously, there's that injury cloud around him as well, but he should be good for round one. I very, very much doubt that he. I doubt he wouldn't be available for Vegas. Like, put it that way, he'll make himself available. He'll be fine. He'll be ready to go. Tom Duffy. I think everybody's going to have Duffy in their side. I had what's his name, Humphreys. And then I thought, I actually had Dodd, and then I went to Humphreys, and then I went, no, I've got to separate my love for the Rabbitohs and go elsewhere. And I think Duffy is just, if he kills it in round one, after that round three, he's just going to, we're just going to see him pile on the money. So I think that is definitely a player you want to start with. In the 5'8" spot, I've gone with Dylan Brown. I had Cody Walker there. Cody Walker's under an injury cloud, and I don't think Cody's going to benefit that much without Latrell for the first few rounds. So I think Dylan Brown, Mitch Moses and Brown, when they play together, Brown's Supercoach numbers actually go up from what I've seen. So I think having Brown there is going to be good for me. I was going to go Munster after getting rid of Walker. I just don't know, the hip injury, that does worry me that he's had surgery on his hips there. So I don't know. I think I was sold on Brown. Could change before round one, obviously, but I don't think it will. Pretty much locked in there. Luke Metcalf, I think, is another player that you've just got to lock into your side somewhere. He's going to be incredible, and I think I was stupid not to have him in there from the get-go. So, on to the wings and centres. So we've got Ruben Garrick. I think this one speaks for itself. Garrick is going to kick for Manly. I think he will pick up quite a lot of points as well. He'll score plenty of tries. I think Ruben Garrick's got to be in most teams, if I'm being honest with you. Tai Munro, I've gone with him there. From the Indigenous All-Stars game, and then even last week in the Charity Shield, I thought he's, getting out of his own end in work. He's picking up a lot more of that. I think he will score quite a few tries this season as well. I think we're in for a big year of Tyrone Munro, and at 397k, I just couldn't pass up on this one. I had to take Tai Munro. I had to have another Rabbitoh in there somewhere. So Tai Munro, I think, at just under 400k, I think you got to have him in there. I've gone with Billy Smith to start with. I've also got Robert Toyer on the bench. Now, I do think one of these two will get the final spot, which could then impact where I go for the last player in this team. Obviously, team list, as I said, will impact a lot of this as well. Billy Smith, it depends. It all depends on who gets what. I am a bit nervous about Robert Toya. I had him as my rookie of the year trials. He didn't look great in, especially last week against the Knights. He looked pretty poor in that one, so I am a little bit worried about that one, but we should be good. Jackson Perdue, I think his name's Jackson. 257,000. I think he'll lock in a centre spot there for the Cowboys, and I'm happy to run with that. I think that's a good pick. Jack Bird, if he starts at lock, I think for 379k, you'd be mad not to pick him. Even if he doesn't start at lock, if he comes on the bench, I'm expecting him to play fairly decent minutes, probably 50 plus minutes a game. I think we're going to see Jack Bird score quite well in 2025. Even if he doesn't start at lock, I'm happy to keep him in the squad somewhere because I do think he will generate a bit of money. Sione Finau scored 4 tries on the weekend against the Rabbitohs. I think he's got to be in most teams. I think the Dragons will give him that wing spot over Tuipulotu. That's just my opinion there. Obviously, if that does change, he probably will come out of my squad and I will bring someone else in. But I think we'll wait for round 1 team list, but I'm pretty excited to have Finau in my side. All right, my fullbacks. Kalen Ponga replaces Latrell Mitchell. I think KP and Trebojevic are, the better 2 options here. So obviously Turbo is my flex player and KP is my fullback. So I'm happy to run these 2. I think they're both going to be incredible this season. And without Latrell, I think that these 2 and Teddy as well, but Teddy is a little bit more expensive than what I'd like to spend on. I trust these 2 more than I trust Teddy, which is wild to say considering Teddy had one of the best seasons last year. But with that Roosters side, it does worry me a little bit with Tedesco because watching the Knights play on the weekend, I think KP is going to have a big year. And we know that Turbo, he always gives you a pretty decent score as well. So, I'm happy. I'm confident to go with these 2. And then, I probably will own Teddy at some point in the year. But these 2, I'm pretty confident with. So, we're locking them in. And then Iongi, he has been lighting it up in the trials. People saying that Papali'i deserves the spot over him. I think you're crazy. Papali'i looked good against reserve grade players. Iongi looked good against NRL players. Like, there's a bit of a difference there. So I think Iongi's got to be in the squad somewhere. And obviously, reserves aren't set in stone. Injuries and Team List Tuesday will, say what I do here. There's going to be a little bit of movement here and there. So we'll see how that plays out. But, that is my Super Coach team for 2025. Let me know yours down below in the comments, guys. If you did enjoy this one, please leave a like and subscribe. We've hit 10k subs. God, I'd like to hit 11k by the middle of the year, but man, I'm over the moon and stoked that we've managed to hit 10k. Like, that is crazy to me. But that is going to wrap it up for me, though, guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and as always, I will see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.